In this video, let's take a look at Jabba the Hutt and his throne for the Shadows of the Dark Side subline, I think it is, kind of, for the Legacy Collection. I'm not sure if it was treated as a totally separate line. I always thought it was just part of the Legacy Collection. It was just kind of like some off-brand thing that Hasbro did on the side. But oftentimes I see it ends up being treated as a whole, totally separate line. And it also include like the Force Unleashed packs and like Delta Squad and things like that, and of course this Jabba and his throne. So I'm not too sure the history behind that, but for my purposes, I pretty much count it as like the Legacy Collection as like one of the last items that was released in the Legacy Collection at the time. So I do recall this was a Walmart exclusive, and it was released sometime in mid 2010. I recall seeing these on shelves too, and unfortunately I missed out on it at the time. The set you're looking at here I actually didn't get until about 3 or 4 years ago now at this point. And I only paid about $100 for it, which I thought was pretty reasonable for a set that's out of production, and oftentimes it can go for much more. I think I bid for it and I ended up being the only bidder. And now at this time, this video, Hasbro just announced the release of another Jabba in his throne to go along with the Bib Fortuna Book of Boba Fett throne room, which is pretty much, as far as I could tell, it's about the same thing as this. The Jabba is totally different. It's just a repaint of the one that came after this, and it doesn't have Ula, unfortunately. We'll probably never see Ula as an action figure ever again, at least while the tide is the way it is. And it looks like the Salacious Crumb that it's coming with is an entirely different sculpt from this one. So overall, I really like this throne room. I think it's probably the best Jabba that we've ever gotten to date, even more so than the newer sculpts, even better than the Sail Barge Jabba. It does have its share of issues though, and thankfully I do have a solution here that I found to be very effective. So with this Jabba the Hutt here, he's known for being extremely sticky. For whatever reason, his body is rubber here, and his head and his arms are plastic. But the plastic or the rubber on him deteriorates terribly for the body, and it makes it extremely sticky. And for long periods of time, if you have him against, like, let's say you had his tail touching Ula or Salacious Crumb, for example, it would deteriorate the plastic on them. And after so many years, you would start seeing the plastic eat away on those. And I haven't, up until now, I haven't really found a viable solution to it. And I know a lot of people struggle to find a solution to it. At first I tried just soapy water, maybe that'll wash it away. It didn't really work, but the solution I found for it was just baby powder. It's any type of baby powder even. So what you do is just put them in a tub and sprinkle them completely with the powder and let it sit for a couple days. And I found that to be very effective. I ended up doing it twice, and now he's pretty much not really sticky at all. He has a slight, ever so slightly bit to it, but I would say he's about 99% better than he was before. And I'm not worried about him deteriorating the plastic on like the throne or anything else. I think it's a safe bet at this point. And what I did, so you can take this rubber body off, and then in the inside he has kind of a skeleton. I know that's probably not the correct term for it, but it's like a plastic U-shaped piece that goes where the body is, and then he has a movable tail, or I want to say a wire tail, but it's flexible to where you can move his tail around. And that just goes in the inside here, so you can take this upper part off. So I took his rubber body and I completely filled it up with the baby powder, and then I put it back together. So Jabba is completely filled up with the powder, and I hope that will help keep the rubber from deteriorating further. And it's been about a week now since I've done that, and so far so good. Hasn't worn off any of the paint, and he looks good as new. So I'm really happy about that. So if you have this Jabba for your collection and you're looking for a solution for it, that's one thing I would recommend, is just taking some ordinary baby powder and sprinkle it completely all around him. You're probably going to go through about half a bottle. So unfortunately I don't have the package here to show you anymore, but it is a very iconic scene that Hasbro made on it. It's basically Jabba, and then it has Ula doing her dance routine up front. It's a very nice looking package. So if you want to get online and see how that looks, I would highly recommend it. So let's just take a look at some of the odd characters first. Take a look at Salacious Crumb. So as far as I know, I think this is pretty much the same Salacious Crumb that was released in the TVC line as part of that Death Star 2 Revenge of the Jedi set. Between this one and the Mouse Droid, they're probably the rarest TVC action figures you can get. And they're usually holes in most people's collections. He has some nice detailing on him. He's a Quakian monkey lizard, if you weren't sure what his species is. But he is kind of a large creature. I thought he was a lot smaller than he appears to be, but he's usually about a torso length of what Ula is. But I always thought he was much smaller. He has pretty nice detailing in him. Looks really good. Has his tail. And he does have a little bit of articulation in him. And he has a joint at the neck there. And he has swivel shoulders. And swivel hips, it looks like. Or, no, that's actually hinged hips. I haven't articulated too much because the limbs are kind of soft and feels like they could break apart. Try to see here. Yeah. But that's pretty much it for articulation. And he sits pretty good on his own. As awkward of a stance it looks like he has, I haven't really had any problems getting him to stand. And you can just kind of put him on his side there. Something like that. And then next we have Ula here. So today we just have this Ula, and then we got one in the Power of the Force line back in, it was around 2000. It was towards the very end of the line, I think, either in 99 or, well, it had to be in 80 or 98 or 99. I know it was towards the very end of the line, but that action figure is really good as well, and you can still find it for a decent price on eBay, brand new even, maybe like $20, free shipping. But this Ula is really good as well, and this is the only super articulated Ula that we've gotten to date. And it might very well be the last Ula action figure we ever get. Which is kind of unfortunate. I think she totally deserves a TVC release. So the head sculpt, I think the sculpt itself is really good. The paint, not the most perfect. The eyes are a little off, I think. And if Hasbro took another attempt at Ula, I think they would knock it out of the park this time. She has very good sculpting detail. The head tails. And she has this fishnet suit here, which looks really good. You can't take it off, and she is wearing nothing underneath. I've never attempted to take it off. I feel like even if I did, it'd probably be difficult to put back together, so I'm not going to bother with it. And she does have like this loincloth here that kind of just stays into place. Not very good. In fact, I think mine might be broken actually. I've never really noticed that before. Not sure if it's supposed to be like that. I mean, it's staying into place because it straps all the way around her. I haven't really noticed that. And she does have this chain around her neck. Well, it's just a string basically attached to what looks like a collar. You can't take that off, you just pop her head off and then pull the collar off. Of course, you can wrap it around Jabba's hand. And for the articulation, she does have a ball joint at the neck, then hinged shoulders and elbows, swivel wrists. She does have a swivel waist, then swivel hips, and then hinged knees and hinged ankles. So that's Ula. Can't get her in a sitting position here. Kind of. And let's take a look at Jabba. So as I mentioned, I personally think this is the best Jabba that we've ever gotten from Hasbro. For 3 3/4 scale, that is. Very nice detailing in his head there. You see he has some drool outside of his mouth. Some nice greens and browns, and nothing really much to see on the back of him here. And he has a completely flat surface at the bottom. He does have like a tattoo on his arm there. So as I mentioned, for his head and his arms, they are completely plastic. And then for his body, it's rubber. And it does allow for some flexibility, not a whole lot, but you can flex the tail a little bit, have it more in or more out, whichever you prefer. Just to give them a little bit more mobility, some more stability if that's a problem for you. So he does have some articulation. His head does swivel around so you can make it look like he's walking along. And he does have hinged shoulders and hinged elbows as well. Nothing in the wrist. But the fact they gave him any articulation at all, I think, is really neat. They didn't really have to do that. Nice sculpting work in his eyes. As you can see, looks like he's basically got 2 different eyes. The pupils are different sizes. Got a squint in his right eye there, and then kind of like a wide eye in his left eye. So let's see for the throne room itself. So I had, even before I put the baby powder on the Jabba there, I did have him on the throne room for quite a while, and I don't think the plastic on the throne really deteriorated at all. And I did sprinkle some powder on top of the throne too to hopefully get a little bit of stickiness out. It did have a small bit to it, and I do think it was effective getting that out as well. So he comes with the 9 pillows there, as you can see, and you can place them anywhere you want. They're just plastic. Nothing to say about that. This is probably the most unique one here, where it has a little bit of that drape on the side, or you could just put it like that. Then he also comes with this rail here with his bowl, and he does have his pipe here, and that's just a separate accessory as well. Nothing really in the inside there. I did notice on the new one, it looks like he has that bowl where he pulls that that creature out of and ends up eating. So that's one thing this set doesn't have, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I like this railing with the bull as is. And it has some nice detailing on the side. It does have wheels on the bottom, so you can rotate it around if need be. Other than that, it's pretty much the same thing all around. And same thing with on the back. It does have some nice texture detailing. It's kind of rigid, and it is kind of hollow on the inside as well, but it's not too big of a deal. And if for whatever reason, if you do have this set and you just want a different Jabba for it, I do have the 2013 Jabba here, which is the sculpt that I'm pretty sure is going to be released with the new Jabba that's going to be coming out. And this is the Toys R Us exclusive that came with the Rancor back in 2013. And then he also got a release with the sail barge. And there are some differences between the two Jabbas. Show you here real quick. The one that comes with this throne is definitely bigger. And with this newer one here, it's just completely hollowed in plastic. So a lot of people end up getting this one just to, because the plastic on it doesn't deteriorate or anything, so it's a way to replace that one. And the tail doesn't have any articulation to it at all. It's just how the tail is sculpted there. But personally, I still like this Jabba on the left here, the one that comes with the throne. If you can somehow get past all the stickiness to it, it's definitely the superior Jabba. And he doesn't have a whole lot of room for having 9 pillows. So you kind of have to work with him a little bit. Thankfully the stand does work for Ula. Yeah, I think my that's really unfortunate. I think that kind of broke for me. Well, I can tell you I have not done a whole lot for that to break so easily. So that's really unfortunate. But you can get it to stay in place. Maybe it's because of age or something like that. At some point I might just go ahead and get the Power of the Force Ula. And let's see here. So that's the Jabba in his throne set. And before we go, we'll bring out some of his other cronies. Bring out Slave Leia as well, with the legs. And Bib Fortuna. fit. And just put reheats here. And we'll put the droid there. And you can get a pretty good display. So I do have the throne room with the fat Bib Fortuna on pre-order, and I'm hoping that this throne room does work with it. I don't know if the thrones, or I mean the throne specifically, works with the throne room. I don't know if the thrones are exactly the same. I hope they are. They look about the same. Maybe the measurements are a little bit off. I'm sure Hasbro would do a move like that where people that already have this throne, they wouldn't want them to just go ahead and lateral that over to the new one. Instead, want them to get the new Jabba to go along with that. I'm hoping that's not ends up not being the case, but we'll see. I'm sure I'll do a review whenever I get the throne room, and we'll do a comparison and see how it looks. And that throne room should be coming here within the next month or two, actually, in September. So looking forward to it. But regardless, even if this throne does not work with it, I probably just move my Jabba and his accessories over to that one and use that instead. I don't see the need to go out and get the new throne, especially when it's over $100 for the thing. But with that being said, would I recommend this Jabba and his throne for your collection? I would. Of course, now for cost efficiency and the newness of it, it's probably better to just go ahead and get the new Jabba and his throne. But if you want the best Jabba, or what my personal opinion is the best Jabba, with some nice accessories, and plus you get Ula with this, I totally recommend this for your collection. I did do some research prior to this video, and I have seen this throne room go brand new, maybe in the $125, $150 range. Which, yes, it's a little pricey, but I don't think it's the worst thing in the world, especially now that the new Jabba and his throne is going to be over $100 anyway, so potentially for $25 or $50 more, you can get one that's slightly better, and plus you get Ula. And Ula, this particular Ula is a very expensive action figure. I have seen auctions of it go for $80 or $100 on eBay, so it's probably not that bad of a price in the grand scheme of things with all factors considered. But it's a very nice set. Like I mentioned towards the beginning of the video, baby powder, highly effective for getting the stickiness out of this Jabba, and it helps prevent with the rubber deterioration. And because it doesn't have that stickiness, hopefully it doesn't ruin any of your other action figures if it's touching it or on the throne itself. Or if that's not very effective for you, or you don't trust it, you can always go ahead and get this Jabba. But other than that, I think that concludes this review. It's a very nice set, one of my favorites, and of course Jabba the Hutt is a very iconic character. So that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will be lots more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. Check out some of the links in the description as well. Thanks for watching.